Hello, welcome to MGP338. I'm Sheepdog, and because Kev and Anna are at Disney this week, it's Pab this week with me. Say hello, Pab.
It's always Pab with you, every week.
Well, you are always here, yeah, but I didn't know whether to say boy or girl then. I know you're a boy. Just started thinking, what does Kev say? Why am I emulating
So you didn't
Kev?
listen to last week's episode where we did it from actual MCM in the hotel room?
I actually did watch it. I just have a very bad short-term memory, yeah.
Kev said boys and Pab, I think is what he said.
So you're like
and it confused me a little bit.
Asexual
being.
Yes. Like the Stig.
Yes. Something like that, yeah.
We don't cover your face, we cover the rest of you entirely. They can see your face, but they don't know what you are.
Indeed. So you enjoyed a week off last week, didn't you? You had a nice, restful week.
Oh, did I? I mean, I was forced to go to a wedding against my will. Do you know, after my really passive-aggressive rantings on the week before, I asked Mrs. Sheepdog if she would agree a deadline where we would leave the event by. She would not agree a deadline, so I just was whinging about it all week to the point where we ended, like, literally the evening before. I was like, I haven't prepared any clothes and you won't accept a time we will go home. I'm not happy. And she was like, well, just don't come then. I was like, why didn't you say that 2 weeks ago? So then we agreed to disagree, and then I spent the next 2 hours feeling really guilty and annoyed, thinking, well, I can't go to Comic-Con now. I'm not exactly going to just go down to London tomorrow morning. So we talked, and then I picked what I was wearing, and then I went along. And then it was really good, and I felt massively guilty that I'd made such a big deal out of it. I met someone whose wedding I'm going to at the end of the month, and they were a right laugh, so I just thought, you know what, this is all right. I need to stop being such a wang and just get on with stuff, because it was fun. I didn't get to drink or anything, though. I had to be on, like, I was driving, I was watching the kids while Claire was having fun, so it was a little bit off. But, yeah, I reckon you had a lot more fun at Comic-Con.
It was good, yeah. We were just having, like, a pre-show message back and forth, and you said something, was it, you said, was it good or whatever you said, and I said it was very much the same
stuff, yeah.
And I'm not saying that's a bad thing at all, because I very much enjoy that, but what I was trying to get across in the texts that we were saying to you was that when you go to pretty much every single one, you won't notice differences, because if there are differences, they're very small, and you wouldn't notice them because you're there at every sinch one, and you don't it's just like every single time it feels very much the same, because it is very much the same. It's just lots of vendors, lots of artist alley where they've got all the comic book artists and what have you there, and then they got all the panels around the outskirts of the the stages, as it were.
Because it was at the forefront of my mind, I obviously brought it up quite a lot over the weekend. And I think I spoke about it at the wedding to people. I think I spoke about it in my writing group I'm in on Twitter. Because two things that were bothering me was I wasn't there. I was missing Kev's big diversity panel that he was doing. But we'd also been asked if we wanted to do a panel. And doing a panel at Comic-Con is like dream scenario. Like, if you said to me, what's my ideal situation? I mean, my ideal situation would either be me doing a proper panel where it's like massive and it's like a sheepdog panel of something. But the real dream is that I'd write something that would be worthy of me being there. Like, imagine if you'd found out George R. Martin was there, or Kirkman was there, or Neil Gaiman, or something like that. Just one of the writers that we like was there. You'd be like, oh, that's amazing. And I'd love that. But even the thought of being able to cobble together a show and do it on their low end thing was I mean, grated me.
To be fair, I'll be honest with you. Kev's panel was great. I was thinking all week leading up to the panel and whatever. I was thinking, well, I'm just going to disappear and just wander off into the, just going to wander around to myself for 45 minutes while Kev's there. And then Kev said, like, when we got there and we got to actually Sunday, I was just like, well, I'm just recording it, I presume. I'm just recording it for him. And then he didn't make any assumptions. I did make assumptions, and I ended up having to record it, which is fine, because like I say, I assumed I was doing that. And and it was great. But then, like I say, I was watching some of the other ones on that stage. It's the creator stage, I think it was on, or something like that. I can't remember. And it was, I feel like theirs was the most professional one that I've seen. And it was a busy old room, to be fair. It was like say Kev said, standing room only, and it was insane compared to some of the other ones. And like I said, the panel after Kev's panel, it was just one guy sat there and just taking questions from the audience, and no one really had questions.
It's like, who are you? Why are you here? What do you want to talk about?
I feel like it was fans. I feel like they wanted to do. He was a YouTuber, and he was just talking about like I feel like he was like a sketch kind of comedy podcaster. And he was just talking about making of sketches that he was doing, and like what went down in the actual sketch when they were making it and stuff. And I was like, is this interesting to people? I don't know.
Yeah, that's hard, isn't it? I mean, I'm not saying that our one we did at Europe was exactly rocket science or anything, but you gotta have something prepared, haven't you? But
no, that's the thing. That's the thing I'd be worried about, is just getting there and just completely falling flat, and it's just like, oh. That is, especially somewhere like that where it is. Kev's, most of the panel, I don't know, do you remember, like, most of the panel rooms are kind of like curtained off, and like you've got like a little doorway kind of.
Quite open. It looked like people were.
It's open to the elements, completely open to the elements. So it's at the back of the hall. Like, as you come in, take a left into one of the main hall rooms, and you go to the back left, and it's just like an open stage there with seats, and it's just open.
One year, my kids ran into one of them while we were at Comic-Con, and I ran in to get them, and the crowd was 2 people, and the people on stage lit up when they saw us run in, like we were frantically trying to get there before we missed anything, and I was so embarrassed, I made my kids sit down, and we watched about 5 minutes of it before I thought, this is so boring. And we went back out, and I felt even more guilty. I didn't know what was the answer. I thought, if we went straight back out, they were going to be heartbroken. But even 5 6 minutes in, I was like, I don't know who you are. I don't know what you're talking about. And we left. But no, they are. I could definitely see how people can't fill them. I'm surprised that they managed to. Well, I'm not surprised they managed to fill one. They're quite, they've obviously published, but it's impressive. That's the word I'm going for.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like one of the huge ones like that. Like I say, it was about. I think some guy who was there there on the panel said it was like 60 seats or something like that.
Nice,
and then it was like. Then one of the chaps said, one of the listeners of the podcast actually, because he came up to me first and came over and said, I listened to the podcast while he was waiting in the queue to say hello to Kev.
He's a Pab fan.
I was just stood over the side, and he came and spoke to me, and they're very lovely chaps, and they spoke to me and said hello and whatever, and they liked the podcast. So there you go, there's a shout out. I don't remember your names now.
Don't know your names, don't know who you are.
I'm honest with you, because I don't necessarily think I took names. Because I was just that stunned that people wanted to come and talk to me, to be honest with you. I was just there, felt like Kev's bodyguard. Or Kev's...
For 900 years now, mate?
Yeah, I don't know. But then, like I say, they came over and they were very nice people. And they said there's like 87 people there, I think he counted. And I was like, wow.
Nice, cool.
So he done well.
So a lot of people would say to me, like, what do you do at these? I think a lot of people assume we go and get all the autographs from all the famous people that are there, and I was kind of like, nah, it's more of a... I can't get past that. Imagine it's a massive boot sale that you're going from store to store, and like you said earlier, it's once you've seen them all. I was chatting to a guy I know, one of the guys I play Pokemon with, he has an enormous collection of Marvel comics from like way back when up to modern time, and he was saying he used to go, and then maybe 3-4 years ago he went and they had one comic store and it was tiny, and he was really outraged he hasn't been back. And I said, yeah, I've noticed it get smaller. There's more than one. I don't know what one he went to. There was only one, but I think Birmingham only had one last time I went there. But I feel like you said, it's more of a... Go on. If you go twice a year, you are seeing the same stalls. The price isn't going to change. They used to be bargainous, and you could go there and buy stuff for cheaper than you would elsewhere. But now it feels like you're going there to be ripped off, really, a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with you there, but I mean, it very much seems more like about the culture than it does the actual comics. You know what I mean?
Comic Con cosplay and
Comic Con is very much like you'd expect comics, and there are plenty of artists there and what have you, and there are several stalls there, but it's very much dwarfed by the amount of tat, for better word.
Yeah, no,
you know what I mean?
It just seems to be loads of toy sellers and
toys,
the most
vendors.
popular thing is like
lots of yeah.
I know for Kev, it was exciting to see the big wrestling shop that was there.
Yeah, that's always there. Yeah,
you know, so I appreciate that. That's more of a me thing than like I'm not going to jump about that. And I've been quite excited when they've had, say, a Pokemon shop or a figurine shop, or one place was selling like Final Fantasy figures, and another place had some airships from different games, and that's something I'm quite into. And you know, that was cool, but I feel like they come and go. So some year, if there's not anything like that there for you, it does feel like a massive miss. And it was like, the last time I went, I wandered around and felt a little bit awkward about it. The time when you and I wandered around on our own, like just you and I, because Kev had gone out or whatever, there was quite a lot there. We managed to do loads, didn't we? But it's one of those now where I weigh up whether to book my family in to go to it, whether they'll be interested, or whether I'll just be lugging them around for 2-3 hours and spending loads of money on stuff that they don't really want. And it's awkward. I don't really know what the answer is there, because I do really enjoy it. Like you said, I'm not criticising it. It's a bit like ordering a pizza. You love pizza, you get a pizza, but it's not life changing. You don't get a Domino's in and think, oh my god, this is the greatest moment of my month. You're just kind of going along enjoying it. I don't know, Comic-Con used to be a bit more like, oh, this is amazing, I'm having a great... I don't know, but I guess that's just becoming more blasé, perhaps. I usually quite enjoy the wandering around London or Birmingham or whatever gallivanting bit we do and meet people in the lanes or whatever. You know, that ends up being more exciting. But I don't mean to sound like Mr. Negative. I just thought it was worth catching up on it. And I think a little bit of me just wants to feel better that whilst I did miss the panel and I did miss Comic-Con, I want to convince myself that it was more of the same old, and, you know...
Well, you missed something. Thing. You did miss something that we did do, which we don't normally do.
Oh, I heard your Avengers thing, wasn't it?
We did that, yes. We went to the Avengers thing. That was kind of bizarre. It's an officially sanctioned Avengers thing, and it's like a giant tent with all like, you know, like it's all like professionally done, and it's like, but it's just like a museum type thing. Like looking at all like the suits, the outfits, the props and what have you. And then you do like this game at the end where your old iPod touches, and you just push the button you stand in one of the lanes, and you be either Captain America or you just push the button and it throws the shield at Ultron's, and it's just push the button, and then the shield goes to shoot it all. It's very much, that stuff's very much designed at the kids, but I enjoy just wandering around it and just looking at all the outfits and what have you, and looking at all the things. But it was just like it was boiling as well. It was absolutely roasted in there.
That's why it's being a tent. Yeah, it's going to be.
It was a tent, and it was like screens everywhere. It was absolutely boiling. Oh, it was almost unbearable. It was like, I just want to get out. And we're probably done within like probably 20 minutes. Just wandering around taking pictures of all the suits and what have you, going, oh, that's cool. That's cool. It was alright for what it was. Like I say, it's going away at the end of June, I think, or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's like I said, I got the tickets because it was like 40% off, I think, something like that, tickets. So I was like, well, let's see what it's like. Yeah. And so, yeah. But the other thing, no, that wasn't what I was on about. Me and Kev went in to watch the first episode of The Boys. No, you're gonna see what The Boys is now. Boys is the Garth Ennis comic book.
Right.
Which they're making into a TV show. And you know who Garth Ennis is?
I know the name, and I'm trying to think.
It's the guy who did Preacher.
Right. Okay. I thought he was dead.
No, that's the guy artist.
That did the art. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. I know that sounds really insensitive.
No. I know what you mean, but yeah. No. He wrote. He's done. He'd done the books. I think he did the books after Preacher. So I think the books have been out for a while, or something like that. It had been out for a while anyway, and they're making a TV show. It's coming out at the end of July, I think, something like that. Yeah, another Amazon jobby. And the first episode is superb. It's an hour-long episode, and it's really good. The premise, Sheepdog, is there are superheroes in the world, It's like a superhero world, and there's like the very much DC knockoff superheroes, and but they are very much employees of a superhero company, and they have to worry about like revenue and insurance and you know what I mean and stuff like that. So it's very much a company, but it's like
they got targets
like
or
a
whatever,
corporate, it's a corporate business, right?
Cool, okay.
And the premise is like it starts off with this young lad who works in like a TV shop, like an electrical store, and he's walking in the street and he's walking down the street with his girlfriend, and his girlfriend like goes to step off the curb to cross the road, and then like the Flash knockoff whizzes past and she explodes.
Because of the force of him walking by.
Yeah, because he whizzes past, he flies by, and because he just completely just obliterates her. And then it's like I might have spoiled a bit there, but it's like the opening like less than 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's like then there's like the whole thing of the company comes back to acknowledge that they acknowledge they're sorry like for the incident sort of thing. They're not sorry per se that it's happened, and they offer him money like a compensation of like 45 grand, and it's like he doesn't take it or whatever. And then one of the other guys, some other guy turns up, and like wants to offer him like, you want payback or something, and then it goes from there. Like this guy's like, who's is it Carl Urban, the guy who played Judge Dredd and what have you, and was in all sorts of other things. Carl Urban, big,
right, yeah, like
famous actor guy, and he's Carl Urban, and he's like this big gruff guy who's like wants to stick it to the man sort of thing, and yeah, you need to watch it. It's really good. It's really good.
Come out?
End of July, I think, like
cool,
July 26th or something like that.
I'm trying to. I'm weird. I think I've talked about this before with TV, but I'm trying to like streamline what I watch because I've watched too much stuff, and so at the moment it's been quite quiet because everything's finished. You know, the Arrowverse is finished. All of them are finished. Like my mate wants me to watch Chernobyl, and I'm waiting for it to finish so I can make sure it's good. Apparently, it's like the best rated show ever. So
yeah, I want to watch it as well. I do want to watch that.
But yeah, this comes out at a good time because I think Stranger Things must come out in a week, and I think Orange is the New Black comes out in maybe a month and a half, something like that. I think I read. I've just watched Glow seasons 1 and 2, and that comes back in August. So I'm thinking this will fit quite nicely in the middle, and I can maybe read in advance. Is it a comic or a book?
What the boys?
The source, yeah.
Yeah, it's a comic book. It's a comic book,
comic book. Okay, cool. So
yeah. Like I said, Kev came out of the show and I went straight and bought the book because there was someone selling it.
Awesome. That's quite cynical, isn't it? Someone's outside the door like, I've got a big pile of comics.
No, it's not exactly out the door. It's just like on one of the stalls further up. We saw it earlier on.
Cool.
So,
cool. Okay, that'll be good then. Because I think what's bothered me a little bit, like all the big ones that I read quite monthly and everything, or sat and binged through, are all either coming to an end or I finished them because they'd already ended. So like Preacher, and I don't know. I've not particularly sought out new ones because there's still some that are dwindling through, like Giant Days and like Paper Girls. And, I ended up following Flash, Batman, and Superman. So I'm kind of I could do it. Is this finished, The Boys, as a comic?
Yeah, but I think so. It's old. It's not new.
Yeah, I'll double check.
So I think it's done. I got the first 2 volumes last Christmas. I think when they were dirt cheap in a Forbidden Planet sale, and I bought them for like £2 or £3 each or something like that. And I thought, let's buy the first 2 volumes.
Show,
oh yeah, well Kev paid about £12 for the volume 1. So I was like, bloody hell, yeah. So yeah, it's a good old show. Like I say, I'm going to be reading it as well now, probably.
So yeah, I mentioned this. I watched Glow. If someone doesn't understand, like, so I'd been putting off watching this on Netflix. Glow stands for Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling, and
it's based on real thing.
Is it? I didn't know it was based.
Yes.
So it's set in the 80s. It's a like B-movie director who and a rich sort of playboy, born with a silver spoon in his mouth, wants to produce this lady wrestling show to be as good as the men's wrestling show, Hulk Hogan and all that. So they hire a bunch of out-of-work deadbeat actresses to play wrestlers and teach them and train them and try and make a show out of it. And I explained this to people at work today, and they were like, "Yeah, that sounds really cool. They're going to go watch it." I've found out since that they brought out a couple of comics in between, which is quite cool. I'll read them.
I didn't know that.
But it has some characters. It has some fantastic characters in it, and really, really enjoyed watching it. I don't know why I really waited so long. I think people told me it was good.
Season 2. I started watching season 2 and didn't finish it.
It made me, because I watched. I was saying to Claire, I watched wrestling when I was maybe 8, 9. I used to watch it with my cousins, and then we kind of, so it's like just life stuff happened. So it's like one was too old, one died, and we stopped watching wrestling. It's one of, I never really thought about it until I was talking to Claire about it. So I just never watched wrestling after that, particularly because it never came up. And I was kind of like, this is why wrestling was awesome. And it's funny watching, because when Kev's getting into it with all of his people online, I'm kind of like, I don't really remember liking it that much. I don't have the nostalgia, really. And apparently Claire watched it religiously growing up and stayed up watching all the pay-per-views and stuff. So when we were watching this, it was kind of like I remember why wrestling was so fun. Oh, that's my alarm going off there. I remember why it was so good now. So it's quite cool watching that. Just it gives you a bit of a flavour of why wrestling is the kind of phenomenon it is, and it's just an entertaining drama. And it's so like I say, comedy drama-y TV show.
Yes,
about the characters' lives and them becoming wrestlers and that. And it's very witty. It had a whole episode where it was essentially the characters doing the show instead of like the show, if that makes sense. So like it would have all the in-between clips, the drama of the characters battling it out or arguing or whatever. It's well worth watching. I'm glad I did. And so I just noticed my family have just walked in the door. They've gone straight upstairs, so I'm going to wrap up in the next maybe 10 minutes.
Okay, I was going to say, you can tell that we haven't got much to talk about games-wise, because we're just going
I've
anything
got
and everything.
Little bits. I was going to say that Bosco got... I've mentioned before, he's massively into Minecraft. We never knew. I feel really bad. I'm a bad gamer and a bad parent. I never knew that Minecraft had just a competitive mode in it. And they saw it on YouTube, and they've been playing it bloody religiously, like snowball fights, attacking each other, hacking through the ground, just generally battling it out. I'm shocked that passed me by. I thought people made their own stadiums and whatnot and just played, but this is like a console only thing. He was just sat there battling out with his sister, just playing competitive Minecraft against her, and I never knew that was a thing. So we've been playing that a lot this week. And so when I said to you, I've not really done much gaming, I kind of thought that's because I'm probably the only person in the world who didn't know this was a thing.
Yeah, I think it is a thing. Yeah, it's an interesting thing to do, isn't it? Like it's another
It just shows how creative people are. I wouldn't be that creative. We've played Minecraft as a family plenty of times, and all I do is build castles and roller coaster-y type things. And we were trying to herd pigs the other day and stuff like that. And then he was having a snowball fight, and it was just brilliant. I was just like, why haven't I done this before? It's very surprising. I also wanted to laugh at, we get quite a lot of, I say quite a lot of, we often got reviews from Koch Media, who...
Right.
We've been, associate friends of theirs for probably since 6 months in from doing the podcast.
Yeah.
And they sent an email out asking whether we'd like a review copy of... a tie-in Persona game, Persona Q2 New Cinema Labyrinth on the 3DS. And I thought, well, Kev likes that, I'll ask for a code. I replied saying, can we have a code for MGP, please? And he replied, hi, Sheepdog, we don't deal with that game. I was like, what are you on about? You literally just asked me if I'd like a copy of it. How do you not deal with that game? And he was like, we don't deal with it. And I was like, what is going on? You've just sent me the email. I sent the code back to him, showing him he'd asked me if I wanted the code. And he was like, I thought you meant MotoGP. He was like, I have no idea what you were on about. It's because I'd like a code for MGP. I wasted about 2 hours
Oh,
of this guy's day.
I see.
Because he doesn't have a clue who we are. So he actually deals with so many people, which is an absolute non-entity to him. But it's the first time that's ever happened in, 8 years of doing this.
We got referred to as MotoGP.
Yeah, he was just like, that's not our game. That's dealt with by the... He even, bless him, went and found the agency that were dealing with it so that I could go to them and ask for a copy of it. And I was like, mate, that's not what I wanted. But that really made me laugh.
That's nice of him, though.
It was very nice of him, bless him. But I thought, well, it's good to know that they've literally never listened to any of the reviews or anything. They don't know who we are. I'm on their mailing list and that's that. But yeah, it tickled me that because they've been a source of reasonably decent games. But yeah, not MotoGP. And I don't know whether Kev will get the Persona tie-in game or whether he'll even want it, to be honest. But if we get a code, one of us will play it.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll find somewhere to play it. So while I was in Comic-Con, I decided, you know what I'm going to do? I told myself, finally, I'm going to play South Park: The Fractured But Whole.
What, from the beginning or to complete
I've not played it.
Really? Wow.
Not played it, no. I've not played any of the South Park games. I started the first South Park game, and I got about 2 or 3 hours in and got distracted by something else and never went back to it. And then I think I remember we played it at AGX or whatever, didn't we?
Yeah.
And I liked the look of it, and then I eventually got it on Switch because it came out on Switch. And I just literally got it, installed it, and it just kind of went to the bottom of a pile sort of thing. I never thought about it. I knew it was there, and I thought, I'm going to play it at some point. And I thought, now's the perfect time. Well, I'm just sat in bed trying to hide from Kev snoring.
It's such a good story.
It's cool. I've not even played that much, but it was really good.
Like, I mean, if you like South Park, obviously, but it's a bit like you were saying about The Boys. It's superhero tie-in. They're all knockoffs of the superheroes.
Yes.
You know, not Timmy. What's his name?
Jimmy.
Jimmy's the Flash.
Jimmy.
Jimmy.
Yeah, Jimmy.
And Timmy's Professor X.
Yeah, it's really cool though. I mean, I've only played like the first. I played like the first hour, but yeah.
I loved the episodes, but we've never actually done them because these are proper South Park episodes, like previously building up to this, and you literally knew the moment they started doing these, you thought this is where they're going to make another game. So I remember when that was announced and just thinking, yeah, definitely knew this was coming. I don't think I've played the DLC, and I want to because there's lots of extra bits there.
I've got the complete edition with all the DLC and stuff, so I might get to it at some point. But like I said, I've got to play it first. But I like the fact that you start off and you're still playing the old one. You're still playing the
so clever because they
Stick of Truth, and you're just playing as the king of the realm sort of thing. And there's all like the elves and the wizards and what have you, and you're just playing for a little bit, and then you're like. No, and they go, oh, hang on, no, we're playing the superheroes now.
There's a few bits where they'll there's characters in South Park who are still playing that game, and it's good that they build it as it's not just we've forgotten about it. It is all continuous.
It's like a real world that they're still just playing the games in. It's a really good idea, and I enjoyed you go around and your aim is to get more followers on the Coonstagram.
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah,
it's like
and you're like, I can't. I'm not taking a picture. I'm not taking a selfie with you because you don't have enough followers. And you're like, okay, so you go around.
I think I learned at the end that there are more. There's only slightly, but there are more people than you need to 100% it.
Right.
So you can 100% it and still get 3 or 4 more people. So if there's people who are ridiculously difficult for you to get, you'll probably be able to 100% it either way. Which is handy to know. But yeah, I was satisfied with that. I think both of those games have good endings and good stories, and they tie in New Kid really well. I mean, I don't know how they do it unless they always showed it from the kid's perspective, but I'd quite like New Kid to become a character in the cartoon almost, just to have New Kid there for an episode or two.
It's difficult to do though, because New Kid's very much a customizable character who...
Yeah, but they don't have to show what he looks like, do they? They can just a bit like Peep Show.
Just refer to him as New Kid, or references to New Kid.
Well, they could just be talking to New Kid, but they're looking at breaking the fourth wall. Do you know what I mean?
Oh right, I see.
Like the show Peep Show. So
maybe, but I mean, it depends the importance of it because they also don't really realise that probably the majority of the audience at the South Park don't play.
I suppose.
Have
you done many of the origin stories? Because that's another
I've literally done the first hour or so. So I did all the tutorial stuff, and then I started going through trying to get selfies with people, and then I come across Stan's dad who wants me to find something before he'll take a picture with me. I've got to go and do something about who scratched his car or something like that.
There'll be points where like Cartman's letting you sort out your origin story, and
I did see that. Yeah,
he's insisting on it, always including you walking in on your parents in bed, and it's just silly stuff like that. That's not. I'm not saying that's like the highlight joke of it. I always feel like South Park,
very much the South Park humour, though. Yeah,
I always feel like South Park gets a bad rap for having a joke like that or a fart gag or whatever. When actually there's so many richer jokes that I don't want to spoil. I'm kind of just picking that as a throwaway one that really entertained me. That it was more the insistence on that was the worst thing he could think of as an 8-year-old. Like, oh my god, it absolutely ruined your life.
And the fact that like. I wanted to see what this game played like on the Switch, and it plays absolutely perfectly. It's not stuttery, it's not
games
struggling.
I feel like it's not an exaggeration, it's the wrong word, but like I'd expect this to just play perfectly because it's a game, and great, you know.
Yeah,
I think some games like Fortnite and FIFA, you'd be like, okay, no, how they play on there is important, but I'd expect this to be. So I'm relieved to hear it is, because if they somehow butchered it,
it's not like you got to get the 4K visuals or anything like that, but it's clear, it's crisp enough, and like I said, it transitions to like there's not many. I don't feel like there's many loading screens.
Watching
that
South
way.
Park in 4K,
I feel like it transitions
like
to the mind blowing.
Really though.
Well, yeah, crisper textures. I don't know, but yeah, it plays really well. No real like hitching, no frame rate issues or anything like that from what I could tell, and it's like I say, I've played like probably the opening hour or so, and I will probably play more of it when I get back to it at some point, because I did enjoy doing all the RPG stuff to it and what have you, and getting followers and what have you, and it's like, yeah.
I keep trying to make myself sit and play Spider-Man on the PS4, and I really need to force myself to do it. I'm tempted to, because we're obviously recording earlier than normal tonight, I'm tempted to not, because I was going to sit, like when Mrs. Sheepdog got in, I was going to watch like The Last Leg and stuff like that if they're on Channel 4 or whatever, but I'm thinking I might just sack that off and go and play Spider-Man upstairs and just chill out, because I need to get back in the habit. Because at the moment, all my kind of gaming stuff is dictated by whatever the kids happen to be doing. Yeah,
what I found myself doing as well, if I'm trying to force myself to play games, I did this with The Last of Us, I did this with
I dread the second
other
one
games
coming out and me not having the time to play it.
Well, this is what I've been doing. This is what I did with The Last of Us, because I wasn't overly digging it and what have you at first. I did it with I did it with God of War as well, maybe, or something like that at the start, because I didn't. But I said, right, just play for an hour, and just put a timer on. Just put a timer on, and went, there you go, you've done an hour, and then come back tomorrow and do another hour.
Because I did an hour a day.
Until it just gets you, until there's something that just gets you and just grips you, and you go, I'm going to carry on playing.
Red Dead 2's there as well, not 2.
Yeah, I did that with the start of Red Dead as well, and admittedly, I stopped at that at some point because it became too daunting. The open world became too much, but. Yeah, I'd do that with Spider-Man, definitely. Just give yourself an hour.
See, I'm so rusty, I forgot that it is actually called Red Dead Redemption 2. I thought I'd misspoke then, but I'm like, no, that is called that. I was right. But again, they're both just sat there, and I have started them both, but I've not gone further into them. I think with Red Dead 2, I basically came across the clan, tried to kill them, and then got killed, and then turned it off, and that was it. But no, I do need to make time.
I didn't even get to chapter 3, I don't think, so... I was still in tutorial chapter, just wandering around.
Well, I think I am. I don't know for sure. I don't think I got into any proper story. We're just a nomadic kind of group of people.
Yeah. Well, I think we're coming to an end. I've been trying to play. I've got a new game this week called Void Bastards.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert! Swear alert! I mean,
I know. Well, that's the name. I'm just stating the name of the game. Well, it's not. I'm not swearing. I'm just stating the name of the game, and it's very much a comic book style artist, like the style of it is comic book. Do you remember the game? No, you're not gonna. Do you remember the game 13 from years ago? And it was very much a comic book style game. It's like that. It has that aesthetic to it, and it's a roguelike, where first person roguelike where you are. It's like FTL. You travel across a map, and you need to get across the map. You need fuel and food and whatever.
Okay, so that sounds right up my street then.
So you have to. So you're gonna let me say it again, aren't you?
Oh no, yeah. I can put
void,
B word.
Void.
B
Void.
word.
B word.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a roguelike. So once you die, you runs over. You start again, but you keep the progress of like your stuff that you've unlocked. So you need like it shows you like I've got to go across this like map, and to get to this ship it'll cost 1 fuel or 1 food. But on the ship there is food and fuel so you can resupply on. But also you only have a limited amount of bullets and what have you and stuff like that. But you'd also have a lot of like space pirates on these ships, and you dock on the ship, and then you go on and you sneak around, get the stuff, and come off. And then you whatever scrap you get, you might be able to craft something in your workbench, and that's where your workbench stuff stays. There's like a workbench like skill tree type thing, so you unlock.
This one ends up having a stupidly impossible ending to it though, because that's what FTL gets me.
I don't know. At the minute, I really don't know.
Boss on that's stupid. I've got to it so many times now, I can't do it. And like I'd consider doing a let's play thing where people help me do it live. And help me make decisions on it, but I can get to the end. It's just I physically don't know how to do it. Maybe I should do the Twitch live thing with it and get someone to talk me through it.
So you get people. Might be. Yeah, but like I say, I've only played with like 2 or 3 goals on that, and I will see. I'll play more of that next week because it's very much like a whimsical, like I say.
Is that on PC?
Comic book. It's on Steam and I think it's on consoles. I might be wrong. I think it might be on one. It might be on one or the other. I don't think it's on both necessarily, but one of the big 2 consoles as well.
Right, okay.
But yeah, I've got plenty of other games to talk about this week to dig into. I feel like I've bought about 3 or 4 games this past week with like umpteen sales I've seen on. And I've just gone, oh yeah, go on then. I think I bought the last season. I bought the last season of Walking Dead. The next one I'm actually buying
is the Mario Maker 2. That's on my agenda. But,
yes, that's at the end of June, is it?
Yeah,
end of June. Yeah. So other than that, I think we are pretty much
Yeah, I've been nervously wondering for the past 10 minutes whether I'm being burgled or not, because all I heard was people come in and go upstairs. I didn't actually hear any kind of patter of people talking to me or saying hello or whatever, so I'm slightly nervous that I'll go in my living room and there'll be no TV and there'll be no... I've solved my Spider-Man problem, let's put it that way.
Yes.
It is a nice quick one. I promise I'll try and actually play some goddamn game. The thing is as well, when I sit and I think, what shall I do? And I look at Spider-Man and Red, and I think, well, we already talked about them, we've all talked about them, everyone listening's already played them. So then I try and do something else, but I'm kind of stuck by the confines of what's in the house.
Play Spider-Man. Play Spider-Man.
Should. I did enjoy the first, 2-3 hours, I think. I can't remember how many hours I played now.
So much fun.
Then, but...
yeah.
I'm slightly nervous. I know I'm literally trying to wrap up, but I'm slightly nervous because unless I've missed something, I watched Into the Spider-Verse. I mean, I mentioned that before.
Yes.
The more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm feeling like Spider-Man had no real business interfering with Fisk's plan in that film. He wasn't doing anything wrong. In theory. I
can't remember the film. I honestly cannot remember.
So this isn't a spoiler because it's the start of the film. If I understand correctly, he built a machine because his wife and kid had died, and he wanted to bring them through from another multiverse. They wanted to find a multiverse where Fisk had died and reunite him with his wife and son.
But wasn't it I feel like it was extremely dangerous to do so.
It was dodgy ground.
Tearing a hole in the universe sort of thing.
It was like cutting edge technology that would, needed a precise hand, and then along came Spider-Man and started smashing and grabbing and sticking his head in it. And they ended up with 6 spider people, and Fisk ended up very angry. And I'm looking at that film after the fact, thinking he was just as far as the world at large was concerned, I know we know better. he's a legitimate businessman who's invested in technology and scientists and, clever stuff. And he's managed to breach the void between dimensions and multiverses to try and reunite with his dead wife and kid. And along comes evil Peter Parker to destroy his plan. I was thinking about this all day the other week after watching it, thinking, yeah, I wonder. Maybe I've forgotten something pertinent, maybe he stole the tech and he was kidnapping them from an innocent Fisk and another. But I'm pretty sure they were mourning his death and he was trying to solve everyone's problems. So I'm now starting to think maybe Spider-Man's not the good guy in these things, because I'm pretty sure the only mission I've done mission and a bit of the game is I've basically gone and rained on Fisk's parade again. So it's maybe Spider-Man just needs to leave the poor man alone. He's a legitimate businessman, damn it. He hasn't been arrested for anything. Spider-Man's not the police. Spider-Man's not the FBI. Can't just decide that Fisk is a villain because he doesn't like fat people or something. He's a fattist. Hates bald people. That's a bald fat man. I am now an enemy of Spider-Man.
Wow. You heard it here first, folks.
That's it.
Wilson
waging war against Spider-Man. Sheepdog will prevail. I think I've just become a comic book villain.
On that note, let's wrap it up, Sheepdog.
Let's wrap it up before I do get the Avengers on my
This is a short one, and it'll be. I imagine it'll be all normal service will resume next week when we have Kevin and Anna back to talk about Disneyland shenanigans and whatnot. So
millions of games they played while they were there instead of doing shenanigans.
Yes, indeed.
Cool.
Indeed.
Well, thanks very much for listening, folks. Make sure you check out all the MGPX information on the internet. Is it lelujo.com /lelujo.fm/MGPX?
Yes, I think that's right for MGPX stuff.
Or follow us at NGUK Podcast, or I'm at RB6K.
And you can find me at Pab1986.
I'm pretty sure that is everything that we normally talk about, but it is not long until MGPX and
July.
It's end of July, isn't it? Yeah. I've got probably 2 people on hold with whether we can get swag from them in June, and I'm really hoping they don't let us down. Otherwise, the old sheepdog raffle has met its end. Unless people want blood, kidneys, I don't know. Give you blood.
Wow.
That's your lot. Right, I'm going to stop rabbiting. Have a good week, folks.
Thanks for listening. See you now.